All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Equestrian Adult Amateur. We are here today celebrating 1 year.
1 year, you guys.
1 year. It's hard to believe. So we have decorated my entire barn Halloween spooky season style.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about toxic trainers today.
Oh my gosh, it's a big topic, but we are here for you. It's a little bit spooky.
It's a little bit spooky. We're sleeping in the barn tonight. We're talking toxic trainers. We already have our crazy, what is this guy called?
I don't know.
Jack, the night
Yes.
before Christmas.
I almost
Or
said
the
night
nightmare.
before Halloween.
The nightmare before Christmas. So we have our spooky jammies on, and we are ready to talk toxic trainers.
Let's go, guys.
How long is this? Lord,
It won't stop.
It won't stop. I didn't realize it was.
If I cut out, it's because our beautiful spooky cat is chewing on the cord.
Yeah, so we wanted to get really on theme. Please stop chewing that.
What? Oh my God, there's like actual holes in it.
Yeah,
He has
please.
sharp teeth.
I know. Please don't do that.
Okay, Spooky Kitty and Kels and I are going to start talking about toxic trainers. So
Toxic trainers.
I think we've all been in a situation where we have had trainers that are not the best. And
Not the
especially, I know for me, it was when I was a junior and you don't have a lot of experience and it's kind of like your first horse experience. So
Yeah.
let's get into it. How did we pick this topic? And let's just get started.
So real story. I like how we still have your headlamp sitting on the.
Is
we
it
have-
on still?
Yeah, we have this big, beautiful softbox like lighting up our faces wonderfully, but we have this like, headlamp.
I'm pretty sure it's not a nice one either.
Yeah. Tom, no biting. He is really excited that we're here with him, and
Stop.
well, he's gonna bite the cord.
I'll hide it.
Look,
Oh,
Tom, no. Here, let him play with that. Yeah.
ow.
Tom, you're gonna get kicked out.
I'm acting like I don't have a cat at home and don't know what they're like, but
Yeah. So this is a topic so funny story. I recorded a whole, not a whole episode, but I was driving to pick up these stalls, and I was driving to Dalton to pick up my stalls, and I had all this time,
oh,
and I
God.
was like, I need to do an episode about, toxic trainers. And so I just set up my phone in my car and just started talking. No one ever saw the content, thank God, because who knows what I said. But I was like, no, Alexis and I need to sit down and truly talk about this, because it's something that I feel like everybody has had experiences in equestrian adult amateurs.
Yeah,
I don't know why I say equestrian adult amateurs every time, but
literally everybody,
yeah, but
everyone,
amateurs, juniors,
parents,
professionals, I think.
husbands.
Yeah, everybody has dealt with this. And so we actually had some of you guys call in and give us some of your stories and your input. And that was, of course, we love talking to you guys and hearing the stories. And
Yeah.
that's
Gives us good content,
gives us good content,
good ideas.
and relatability, because, we have our stories and we have things that we've dealt with, but we want to hear it from you guys too. So, yeah, I mean, I think the thing is about horse trainers, and I'm an entrepreneur, you're a service provider as well.
Yeah.
So I'm a service provider, you're a service provider. So I think that, while yes, we're in different worlds, I think we can understand, we're providing a service for
Yeah.
people. And that is the horse world, and the horse community is so weird. And it has this stigma around it all the time. And I think sometimes the team effort gets lost, I think trainers sometimes get a little bit, I don't want to say a kind of a complex, or a controlling type of vibe going. I know that a lot of people have talked about that, and that they feel they forget that sometimes that they are paying this person, that they're
Yes.
actually paying them, and
Yeah.
that they feel like they are expected to just kiss the ground they walk on.
Well, it's hard because they're teaching you something. So
Right.
you are paying them to teach you something, but then you're also paying someone like you're putting all your faith into this person
Right.
financially, emotionally, like whatever for your goals, like everything. And then
Mhm.
you're like afraid to say, like, actually, this doesn't work for me, or like,
Right.
this isn't serving me. And you forget that, like, you are paying them.
Yeah, that gets lost a lot.
Yeah.
And the topic of price and amateurs thinking everything's so expensive, that's definitely something I've heard from professionals a good amount.
Yeah.
And I think that, I think that that's a relatable thing because amateurs are working. We're not in the horse world. We're not, you know, in this for a profession. We're doing this for
For
fun.
fun. Yeah.
And so, yeah, like we do watch the money. We do watch where our money is going because it's like,
Because we were dying to make it for it
it's,
to
yeah, like
go down
it's
the toilet.
right.
Yeah.
So, I think being a service provider, I think it definitely has always brought a different perspective because I'm a small business owner, I'm a service provider. And so sometimes when I've gotten in these situations, whereas I've gotten older, I've definitely been in situations as a young person where you just don't know. You
Yeah.
truly just are in a bad situation and you don't really know that you're in a bad situation. But as amateurs, it's definitely easier to target and really realize it like, holy shit, like maybe I'm not, this like really isn't working for me. So yeah, and I think that this is also like there's so much change happening in our sport right now, and I think this
Yeah.
is a really good time to kind of talk about this.
It's, yeah, there's a lot of change, like from a trainer perspective, and a lot of safe sports stuff. And
Mhm.
just, it's definitely becoming more of a sport where you can like be more open, like with
Mhm.
safe sport. Um, but also it has its challenges too still.
Right. And I'm going to say something kind of controversial, but
Oh
there's
God.
been a lot of talk of like regulating like professionals that they should have some kind of certification or certificate or education and whatnot. And I like really am more on the fence of or more on the side of I don't agree with that. Because like I think of it as like any business owner. Like, anybody can be a photographer. Like, anybody can, like, literally pick up a camera and say, "I'm a photographer."
Well, anyone can hang up a sign and be like, this is my business. Like
Yeah, like,
everyone has the
literally
right.
any
It's America.
right, like, so I kind of don't really feel like there needs to be any regulation put on horse trainers specifically. Like, I think that that's what I think you allow the general public to do that for you, you know? I mean, you allow the public to kind of make those decisions whether they've had good experiences, bad experiences, and it's up to you to give them those good or bad experiences.
Right.
I don't think it's fair to be like, "Oh, well, this person has like just because you have the certification and just because you have this like piece of paper doesn't mean that you still can't be a toxic shit trainer." Like that
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about, to be clear. Like I haven't been in the know
yeah.
um about this topic, but
Mhm.
I think there's something to be said for like l- maybe them having like a certain like minimum
Mhm.
like layer like of the basics and like horse safety and like educational, like I don't know, like some like background checks. I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know. But I also think like, everyone should be able to, if they like are passionate about teaching, if they, want to hang their shingle on the roof, that they
Right.
should be allowed to do so.
Well, yeah. And I think that like anybody, like if you're a photographer, just keep saying photographer because it's easy and
That's what
I
you
know
do.
the space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a photographer and like I have a college degree, but I would say 99% of photographers do not.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to go that extra step, do I feel like that certification or that like 4-year degree has done me anything in terms of furthering my career? No.
Really.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
No.
It's all like learned on the job and
Yeah, I think that I mean, in terms of like people hiring me.
yeah.
Like I don't
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, I don't say, well, I have a bachelor's of fine art, bachelor of fine arts in photography, like and like, oh, well, I'm
Oh,
gonna hire
okay.
you.
I got you. I
You
got you.
know?
Yeah.
Um like I've loved what that I went to school and it was amazing, but like I don't think that that has gotten me any more or less jobs.
Yeah. Like from clients or
from paid
potential clients.
clients,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, but because I don't think that the general public genuinely cares. Like, I don't think that they care what
Well, they
kind
wanna
of
see your
they
work.
wanna see my work. They
Yeah,
wanna see what I'm able to
yeah,
produce for them.
yeah.
And I think it's the same thing in the horse world where it's like they wanna see what you can do for them.
Right.
And, I think this is all like a topic too. Like, are we talking like at the very beginning, like as like kids and we're doing like up down lessons, or are we talking like, you know, I think that we're just can stick to the amateur lane because I think that's going to be like something that we know really well. But,
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I just don't think that the certification is, oh,
Oh.
that's a daddy long.
Oh my god, it's in the bed, though.
Okay, well
I don't think
we're in the barn.
uh,
God, that scared me.
I
It's
don't know
gonna
if I
be
can
spooky out
I
here.
don't know if I can do this.
If that shit crawls on my face later, it's gonna be a real issue.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I'm scared it's, like, in my bag.
No, it's not. But, I just it was an acorn that hit the roof. Anyways, that's what I feel about that. And I don't know, like I think my opinion about a toxic trainer and the reason why this culture or this topic gets brought up a lot is because I think at the end of the day, trainers are just not the best business people. And I think that they don't necessarily manage or run a business very well because it's terribly hard and difficult. Not only just to do it for yourself, but to do it for lots and lots of people. And you're managing people and you're managing horses. Like, it's a lot. Like, I'm not saying it's not. I mean, I have a team of 3 people and I like want to like stab my eyeballs out sometimes.
Well, you're not, like horse trainer oh my god. So, horse trainers are tasked with being an educator, a
Mhm.
teacher,
Mhm.
a therapist, an
Mhm.
emotional support person,
Mhm.
um, a financial analyst,
Mhm.
a accountant, and making sure that the money that's going out on these horses is coming back in from winnings or from, perceived, you know,
Image.
image. Literally, like, they're multifaceted, right? Like, and I'm not a business owner, but I can imagine that you also, yes, like, you're in charge of 3 people and you're in charge of, like, paying and all that stuff. But, like, your clients, thank God, like, you're not, like, telling them, like, "Oh, go buy this $100,000 horse. It's gonna be a winner."
Yeah.
Like, you're not saying, like, "Oh, like, get this package and I will give you $100,000," or,
Right,
like,
right, right.
it's
Mhm.
similar, but it's also, like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
horse trainers are tasked with, like, so many facets of business
Mhm.
that I'm like, "Uh, I couldn't do it."
No, I couldn't do it either. And, it's tough because I think that trainers get into the world of training and being in the horse world because they love horses.
Yeah,
They want to train, they want to
it's
like
their
help people.
passion.
That's their passion. And, I just know from personal experience that, you know, uh, you get burned out really quickly. From what I have seen in my experiences of dealing with trainers that's not a good fit or quote unquote toxic is that it just feels like they are they just either don't communicate well or they are I think it's mostly that they just don't communicate. Like they don't communicate and then they end up blaming the client for whatever the scenario is, and then it just kind of goes in this, like, vicious cycle, and there's, like, this bitterness and, like, resentment, and, like, this is, like, a very consistent thing that hasn't just happened with one person, like, I mean, it's pretty consistent across the board, and we've had you guys call in, and this is definitely something that you guys have brought to our attention as well, that you feel the same, and it's just a lack of communication, and I think in any relationship, that is the core of a solid relationship, whether that's with your best friend, your partner, your horse trainer, like, and especially when you're dealing with something that is so sensitive, such as horse.
Emotionally and financially, God, there's so I mean, they say that, like I know veterinarians are like, God, like, animal owners are, like, so intense, but, like,
Yeah,
imagine the animal costing eh, as much money as these show horses do, and, like,
yeah,
every weekend you're spending thousands on horse shows, and you're, like, also emotionally freaking attached to these things
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, it's an impossible situation to be in, but I would agree that communication just has to be open, and if I think there are a lot of, like maybe there are a lot of adult amateurs that are, like, starting out and they wanna buy their first horse or they wanna get involved and they don't know what they don't know, and I
Mhm,
think it's a trainer's responsibility to know where they're at in the
mhm.
entire process, like, not only their riding skills, but, financially and what they're capable of and what they should be buying and what they should be leasing and what they should be jumping and or, whatever skill. And I think it's like their responsibility to know all of that and to
Yeah,
communicate like, hey, like you're not actually at this level. Like I think we should take a step back before you go spending all your money on this type of level horse. And I'm not
mhm.
sure that that always happens
Yeah,
like it should.
100%. And I think too, like, amateurs have to be, as much as we want trainers to be communicative and open, we also have to rise to that occasion and
Yeah.
be communicative and say, realistically, this is my budget. Say
Yeah.
it's whether it's 10,000 or 100,000 doesn't matter. And I think that you have to be honest with yourself and honest with your trainer, because if you're going to be honest with anyone, your trainer's got to be someone that you're going to be honest with.
That's true.
Because it's like especially when you are on said horse's back and you want to feel like that person truly gets what you're going through, understands, the emotional toll, emotional, the good, the bad, the ugly. And it doesn't happen if you don't communicate that.
Yeah.
And
True.
I think that that'll let, like, I'm always a big advocate for being the one to be over communicative to hopefully receive that back, because the more communicative you are to other people, the more you get it back. And I think it's important that you need to just rise to that occasion if you're expecting that out of people.
Yeah.
So, but it's difficult when you feel like you're being that way and it's not being met, and you just consistently run into problems when you are spending so much money. And spending so much money is a relative, super relative term.
Right. Like everybody has their own like budget and what going over budget is. You laughing
Yeah, he's like really nestling into
at
you.
him?
Yeah, like you know, it's so relative. Like everybody has their own like thresholds and their where they feel where they feel comfortable spending money. And either way, it's a lot of money for a hobby, right? Like
Yeah. It's
it,
not our jobs, it's not our careers, it is our
it's a hobby.
yeah.
So, and when you when you put it like that, sometimes it's like a slap in the face because you're like, damn, this is only a hobby.
It's a hobby that like it just shook me that you said that right then. Like I have a child and a family and I'm spending this much money on
It's like
a
really messed up.
it's like really that just hit me hard. I'm like, "Oh, damn." I mean, don't get me wrong, my husband has some pretty expensive hobbies too,
Yeah.
but damn.
Yeah, I mean, live your life, like this is a
Yeah.
lifestyle. It's definitely something that is like
But
a
you better get your
choice.
money's worth.
Well, that's the thing. And that's like, I think that's where, but I mean, you have to look at it from the horse trainer's perspective too. Like, this is how they make a living. Like, this is how they're bringing their like
Yeah.
money in
It's
for
how they're
their life.
surviving.
That's how they're surviving. And so there's always going to be that like push and pull, no matter like whether it's in the horse world or it's a, agency client experience. Like, you're always going to have that, like, well, they're the paid client and you are like the service provider. Like,
Yeah.
it's always going to be that, like, you
So
know,
how does that work for a trainer that has a difference of opinion with a client though? Because I can say I want a purple horse and the trainer says no, you need a blue horse, but at the end of the day, I'm the paying client. I want a purple horse. Like I can imagine being a trainer and like being in a kind of hard place. You're like, okay, well this person like really needs a blue horse, but they really want a purple horse and they're my client at the end of the day. Like you're taught to be in the service industry like to like the client is like the customer is always right, the
yeah,
customer is always right. So how do you I can see how you could be like, okay, well, like let's buy them the purple horse even though that's really not
not a fit for them.
right.
And I think that that's where you have to like kind of make a decision, right? Like you could put that scenario in any business, and I think that that's where as the business owner you kind of have to make the decision to say like where are you financially? You know, is this a client that you like really need? Like is it going to tip over your whole operation if you
Yeah.
lose this client? Or, you know, is it a place are you in a place where you say, "You know what? Like maybe this isn't a good fit." You know, like maybe we're not a good fit, and I that's no disrespect. Like
Yeah.
you can break up with people very nicely and, respectfully and
Yeah.
walk away clean. Or you make the decision to say, uh, you're going to make that choice. I professionally don't recommend that. You
Yeah.
communicate that,
That's
and
true. That's true. That's true.
then you say, whatever happens after that, I'm going to support you, and I love you. I want the best for you. But at the end of the day, like you can't carry that, that decision that they made as
That's
something
true.
that you have done,
As long as you communicate it that
as long as you
way.
communicate it that way.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're sitting here in this bed in this barn, like that's a perfect ideal situation, right? Like I know not every situation goes
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with people that have their own personalities and their own issues and all of those things. And so I get it. But at the end of the day, communication is going to be something that as a business owner is always going to cover you. You cannot over communicate as a business owner because you cover your ass as much as humanly possible because
Yeah.
you say, okay, well, look back here. Like, I told you that this was not like an I told you so moment, but
Yeah.
like a moment to say, like, okay, well, remember, we did talk about this.
Well, you know in your heart that you've done like you've said your piece and you've said your like honest true communication. So
Right,
there's no like guilt or should I have or would I have.
right, right. And I just know from being an amateur, I can respect that so much about a trainer that comes to me and is just so honest and is like, look, maybe this isn't the like right horse for you, or maybe like this level isn't the right level for you, or maybe like I should probably ride him, or like maybe I need to like you need this. I'm like, okay, I would rather you do that than than just continuously watch me fail and be like, I don't know, like no, I am paying you for your opinion and I need you to be honest with me. Like I need you to be honest with me and I need you to tell me like what's, what what to
That's
do.
yes, but that's also like your personality. Like
100%.
there's going to be a client who like cannot handle that. And so
Absolutely.
you have to like tiptoe around their feelings. And
Absolutely.
I just like I can't imagine.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 2 of us are very
We're
different.
so
We're
different.
so different. We handle things very differently.
Yeah.
I am like the kind of person where I'm like, let's talk about it. Like this upset me. I just want to get it out. Like this upset me. I want to talk about it, like, and be done with it, and then
Yeah.
just move on.
Yeah.
Like you will hold on to stuff forever. But the
Me
thing about
personally,
yeah,
yeah, and then I say nothing because I
well,
don't
yeah, but you also don't like like you hold it against them like internally, but you don't do things like you don't act on it. You're not like I'm gonna like be weird or like you know do anything in spite of those feelings. I'm just gonna like act
feel
normal.
them.
Yeah, I'm just gonna act totally normal and like just feel them and just
Feel
move
my
on.
feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like again, everybody's different and everyone's gonna handle it differently. But I think at the end of the day, as a service provider, I think that you just have to be over communicative. And yes, while the client is usually I mean, if you wanna stay in business and you want to, like,
The client is always right.
yeah, like, the client is always gonna be right. You always have to make right by the client. Like, it just is what it is.
Yeah, I
And
think well, sorry. I think
no.
something that my husband has always said to me is he's really good at communicating the the truth or like his truth, but it's like really hard sometimes because he doesn't have a lot of tact. And
Mhm.
I think that's something that like a lot of like people need to learn is like there's me who under communicates because I'm like terrified of any kind of confrontation. Keep thinking there's a bug. And then there's you who's like, let's over communicate and let's like say what we mean and mean what we say. And then there's just people that are just like black and white. Like, it's just they just lay it out there with, like,
Yeah.
no tact, and
Yeah,
it would hurt somebody else's feelings. So I think there's, like, a happy medium in
for
there
sure.
somewhere.
Well, and I think again, like, that over communication, if that person is black and white and they say, like, "This is how I feel," but, like, and that can be offensive and that can hurt your feelings, but if the communication is there to say, like, "I'm not doing this to hurt your feelings, like, I'm doing this because, like, we're gonna win, we're gonna be better, like, this is what's gonna happen." Like, and that's kind of like a lot of men are like that, and I kind of love working that's why I've always really enjoyed working with men because it's like there's no emotion. It's
I
just
don't
like
get it. How are
there's
they like
I
that?
don't know, it's just like, this is like, you've pissed me off or like you did a shitty job or you did this or like whatever, like whether it's in the horse world or not in the horse world.
Yeah, just a
It's just like
period.
and it's like
But then
so
they don't have any
refreshing.
tact,
Yeah.
or at least
No.
this my husband who's working on it. They don't have any tact, and then I just, like you just shut down. So, like, how as a trainer are you supposed to be like that and, like, not have tact, and then your client's like, "Peace."
Yeah. I mean, and again, like you have to consistently think about where you are as a business owner financially. Like
Yeah, I guess that's true.
a
Like, how
lot of
bad do you need the client?
yeah, a lot of those sacrifices and a lot of those things are gonna depend on where you are, you know? Like, if you need the money and you're growing your business and you're grinding it out, like, you just have to deal with it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
we've all been there, but, like, I think, there's just so many layers to horse trainers because they're dealing with so many different things and, but I also wanna say that they are dealing with so many things, but I also don't wanna give that as, like, a pass or an excuse to say, "Well, that is the reason why you have this behavior." Like, I don't want, like, the bitterness and, like, the resentfulness and the, um the short tempers, the angers, the belittling, like, to your client, to somebody that like, I just, like, couldn't imagine saying some of the things that you guys have called in and told us about your toxic trainer situations, and I couldn't imagine saying those things that y'all have heard to a client. I mean, like, I would be fired. I would be fired in a heartbeat. And that's what's so interesting about the horse world is that like it's just like there's so many like abuse cases that are going on that people are paying for.
I mean, that's what safe sport is all about. It's a little bit different, but, like, that's what it's all about
Yeah.
is you're paying for, like, literal harassment
Yeah.
and, like, they're being harassed. They tell people they're being harassed. Nothing happens, but then you still pay for it because you're stuck in this cycle. It's like a bad relationship. I mean, it
Yeah.
just, it is. I do have something to say, like, as a not a rebuttal, but with toxic trainers. And I'm not saying that any of our listeners are toxic clients, but do you believe that, like, how would you as a service provider deal with a toxic client that's, you know,
Acorn.
acorn? Okay. That you're like, you know, this is what this is and this is how my program runs and whatever, and then you have a client who's paying you a lot of money and they you're like, "My barn's closed on Sundays, and my barn is, like, you can only ride from 8 to 5," or, whatever. There's all these rules because 'cause you're the barn owner and you're the trainer and you own the business, and then you have a toxic client who disregards what you say, or, like, how do you handle that?
Again, I think it depends on where you are in your business. I think that's like always gonna always go back to that because I don't know, maybe this specific one. I mean, if you're really financially going through it and one client breaks you, like you really need to assess what's going on. But I would fire him if it was a repeated offense. And like, the thing about any client and client relationship is there has to be respect. Your client has to respect you, and if the client doesn't respect you, they're just gonna they're just gonna walk all over you, and they're gonna feel like they own you, and it's gonna destroy your mental health, and it's gonna do terrible things to the other relationships in your life,
Yeah.
and it's not worth it.
Doesn't make you wanna keep going.
No,
It makes you resentful,
it
and maybe and I'm not giving a pass again, like Kelly's saying, I'm not giving a pass to toxic trainers, but maybe they've become who they are
100%.
over time because of having toxic relationships with clients that can be toxic or situations or financial hardships or, I think, yeah, like I'm not giving them a pass because I think there are plenty of people out there that do really messed up things to people who are in a vulnerable situation.
Mhm.
But for people that have been in the business a really, really, really long time and like you hear these stories and you're like, God. And then I think about like for like what you're saying, like in your business, if someone's like
Mhm.
toxic to you, how it spills into your personal life
100%.
and it spills into your financial life. And I'm like, dang, like it's all
Connected.
yeah, but it's all like you say, like it all stems from communication and
Mhm.
kind of being honest and tactful and this is how my program works ahead of time and
Yeah, and I think too, like, I have 2 things to say about that. The first thing is that, there was a period of time where I didn't want any male clients. I know
really.
I just said that I like working with men because of that reason, but
Yeah.
I had 2 bad instances back to back of men just crossing boundaries, and, I fired both of them, and it was like the financials, like, the money was great, like, I was in a great, like, they were great paying clients, they were like top paying clients, and like
Yeah.
it it makes you so bitter. It makes you so mad, and like I was just mad at men in general. Because I was just trying to build my business, and this just kept it would happen for a second time, and I was just so annoyed and really frustrated. And so like I can relate to that. I know that that's difficult, and I mean ultimately it's for the best. Um but yeah, I mean I think that it's just something that as a business owner you just have to set boundaries. And that's the second thing I want to say is like, I think in the horse world, it's really because it is so emotional that it's really hard not to get really connected to your clients,
Yeah, it's true.
like
It is true.
emotionally.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the the toxicity can really get out of control, is
Yeah.
because the manipulation starts to become really heavy because everyone's so close, and like but like we're also paying each other, and it's like really weird, and like that's when things start to get really.
Yeah, because you're spending so much time with these people, like,
Yeah.
besides work and your family's at home, like, your second most time spent is at the barn with these people who are literally like when you're in your most vulnerable, anxious place, like right before you walk into that show ring, like who's there?
Yeah.
Like yes, your husband or your partner is watching, and yes, your family's there for you in the background, but like who's literally next to you telling you, like, I believe in you, you can do this, you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
That's your trainer. And so, like, that long standing relationship, you're like, okay, this is my person and yeah, like you become like truly like everyone's heard the term barn family,
Mhm.
barn mom,
Yep.
like everybody like you get so close. It's like somewhat ancestral,
100%.
And then can you imagine like going into business with like a family member, like your sister or your
No.
brother, and then it like blowing up in your face because you love this person, but then it also like you're in business with your brother and the business went south and now
Yeah.
like it's just like it's really tough to
Yeah.
like boundaries are like something you're really good at that.
Well, I'm only good at it because I have to do it for myself in my own business. And it's
Yeah.
like, because in the beginning of business, like for me, I was working with like friends and family and like,
Yeah.
and then you start working with people that know like your friends or your family and it starts to like branch out and branch out, branch out and
Yeah.
branch out. Obviously when you're working with people that you don't have an emotional connection to, it's like much easier.
Yeah.
But the people that you even like clients that maybe you begin to start like, you don't have an emotional connection, but then it grows
Yeah.
and then it starts to get really difficult to kind of like set those boundaries. But you just have to do it from the beginning. You have to do it from the beginning and you have to lay that foundation so that I mean like, like we don't really work after 5 p.m. like or 6 p.m. or like and we don't I'm not taking calls after a certain time.
Yeah.
I'm not working on the weekends unless I'm getting paid a certain amount. Like and I'm not going to like come back to your house or come back and do another shoot for free or like I'm not going to like, you have to
Set the boundaries like
set the
way ahead of
yeah,
time.
you have to set the expectation because if not, like, people are just gonna run over you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's where, trainers and clients can get really, like, hairy because it's like, well, it's like,
I'm paying you.
I'm paying
He's
you.
my horse and
Right.
he may be at your barn, but ultimately he's my horse. And then
Right.
there's no respect for the barn owner and
Right.
the trainer who owns the barn and
Yep.
whatever. And then the client feels slighted because it's their, $20,000 horse sitting in that
Yeah.
wood box in the stall,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's I have every right to come see my,
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's interesting because, like, my good friend rides Arabians, and, she, like, the
She
way
just got back from a show. She did
yeah,
really well.
I know.
I don't know if we're allowed to like say that,
Yeah,
but
she's amazing, but the way that that whole, like, world runs, like, you can't just, like, go to the barn when you want, like, and they pay, like, way more on board than we do. And so, like but they're just, like, not allowed. They're
I
not
remember you telling me that, like, she can go from, like,
like,
like
certain times.
yeah, like, you're not
Yeah.
it's not like, "Don't come here and just, like, pet your horse." Like,
Yeah.
you
You're there to, like, do a training thing or, like, whatever.
yeah,
Like, you can't just, like, show up and, like, go see your horse whenever you
that's
want.
crazy.
It's wild. But that's, like that's the boundaries that they've set. Like, that's the expectation.
That's
Like,
how it
it's
works for
that's
them.
how it works for them. And I think ultimately, like, again, the basis of all of these conversations, like are communication and communication is going to be your best friend and I know it's hard. It's
Oh,
awful.
like, you're really good at it. I cannot stand it. Like, if I believe that I deserve something, I never say anything,
Yeah.
and if I, like, think that something's going wrong, I'm like, "Ah, I just don't.
Well, and I
I
think too
can't."
like you if you have the you just sorry.
You're good.
I just think you have to have the right kind of either if you don't have the right personality to be a business owner, don't do it or do something in the profession that doesn't require you to have that kind of one-on-one managerial
Yeah, like the
role.
face-to-face management of
Yeah, like maybe you just are a professional and you just ride. Like you
yeah,
just and
yeah.
that's it, Like and you don't have to manage the horses, you don't have to board, you don't have to do all of those other things. Um and again, like, we're not sitting here trying to give business advice, but at the end of the day, like it's just that the climate of the horse world is just seeming to be, a little rocky.
Well, it's a very litigious society right now.
Wow, what does that mean?
Litigious means like we're okay. So, for example, like we're quick to do lawsuits against each other.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I was riding Sunny and like, God forbid, like
Yeah.
I was riding bareback and slipped
Would you
off because
sue
these
me?
pajamas are soft. Like, I could be like, oh my God, like she bought me the pajamas and it was her horse and it was her farm. Like, I'm going to sue you. So, like,
Yeah.
that's like being
100%.
litigious. Like,
Yeah.
people are like extremely just over anything. And
Yeah.
I think there are definitely for all our amateurs out there, like with the toxic trainers that have been through things like buying and selling. And there are absolutely times where that is, 100% the right move. But I think the toxicity just like gets further and further elevated when there's like this risk of being sued and
Oh,
I'm going to sue you and
100%.
just like crazy.
And I mean, look, I've been there too, right? Like, you're like, something happens and you're like, oh my God, like, whether it's your employee or you
Yeah.
or something happens, and like that fear is real. So I get it, but like,
Remember when you sold that camera and
oh my
that girl was
God.
like, I'm going to sue you or you were going to sue her? I don't even remember.
No. Okay. So I sold her my film camera, which I shouldn't
Yes.
have done because I miss it. But I sold her this. It was like $3,300 and she bought it on PayPal.
Cameras are expensive, y'all. Like all this equipment, like
Yeah, stupid.
blows my mind.
But so she bought the camera and she it took her like I think PayPal has a 6-month window where you can dispute it. And she reached out to me, like, I think either
Like
the
month
week
6.
yeah, like, literally the week before or, like, 10 days before or something, and disputed it and said that I sold her a camera that was, like, not as described and that it wasn't working or that, like, something was going on, and I got so fired up about that because she was like I was like, "You bought the camera 6 months ago, and you're gonna come back and try to tell me that, like, it
Just
doesn't
now it doesn't
work
work.
and that you want your money back?" Like, and you're a wedding photographer. Like, don't tell me you haven't used it in
For
the
6
past 6
months.
months. Like,
Yeah.
you're full of shit. Like, that was a whole thing, but
She
pay
did. She was like, I'm gonna like sue you for
yeah,
like the
she tried to, like, press charges against, like, PayPal or whatever, and
press
PayPal was like,
charges.
"Fuck off." Yeah, that was, like, a whole thing, but there have been many times where, like, there's been weird things, and that's just, like, how it's always gonna go, but I definitely think especially when you're dealing with, like, a large animal and a human being and weird things happen, like, it's so unpredictable, like,
So unpredictable.
I understand, but I mean, that's why you have limited liability insurance. That's why you have, coverage. Everybody needs the insurance coverage. If you're not covered, you're an idiot.
If you guys have horses, please insure them.
Yeah,
I am not a representative of
yeah,
an insurance
if you
company.
need a good insurance company, let us know. But yeah, I mean, again, I think that the bulk of this conversation is that one, I just want to say I feel for horse trainers.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
totally get it.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that communication is going to be your best friend in any business situation and from any like, if you're paying
Literally
someone,
every relationship.
yeah,
All.
like any relationship communication is going to be super super key, and if you need to do it in private, if you need to do it through text message, like whatever avenue is going to work best for
Yeah.
you, just do it.
Open communication.
Open communication, because if you're too embarrassed to talk to your trainer in person or vice versa, like just do it, like write her a letter, like send her a text or send him a text or
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. Um and but if you are in a toxic situation and you're in a bad situation or uncomfortable or you feel like it's damaging your mental health, it's not the right fit for you. And that's okay. Not
Yeah.
everybody and that's the thing too. I think sometimes in the horse world or like any top level sport, I've heard other like people talk about this in other sports that like
Yeah.
when you're with a certain person and you're sold the dream and you're like, well, no one else is going to give you this.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that's just the manipulation, that's just the toxicity, like that's all part of the game, right? And it's not true. You can find happiness and you can find just as many wonderful things with another trainer. So, if it's not a good fit, there's hundreds of thousands of other people that would love to service you and be a good fit for you. It's just not worth the anxiety and you know, the tears and the stress and all. This is a hobby and this is supposed to be fun.
It's true.
So,
I have one parting gift.
what?
Communication is lubrication.
Wow. And on that note,
We
guys,
should definitely end.
we are going to be out and I appreciate you guys coming on and joining us today.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.